So how effective is a tomahawk in the world of self-defense? Stay tuned and I'll share my thoughts. Thank you so much for clicking on the video, my friend, and welcome to 411 Outdoors. If you're new to this channel and you find this information exciting, resourceful, helpful in any way, I'd be super excited to have you as a subscriber and will greatly appreciate it. Now let's get started. As of late, I've started a video series with regard to, the outdoor weapons and tools that I love and am passionate about, and how they relate to the world of self-defense and how effective I believe they would be in a self-defense scenario. As a disclaimer, I don't consider myself to be an expert in any weapon. I don't consider myself to be an expert in the world of self-defense. I'm just somebody who engages in self-defense. I have my whole life, and I enjoy talking about it. I enjoy discussing things. I think it's healthy. We learn a lot from one another, hearing each other's perspectives and so forth. In my last video, I talked about the effectiveness or the lack thereof concerning the use of a slingshot in self-defense. Well, in this video, I want to talk about the tomahawk. Now, right off the bat, we have a whole lot more history to pull from, because we don't have a lot of history where, slingshots, were used in a battle or self-defense scenario, but we do have a ton of history regarding the tomahawk. The tomahawk has been used to defend, and the tomahawk has been used in battle against other opponents. It's been a very effective weapon throughout the years. It's a weapon that can be used for chopping, for throwing, and there was a time when it was a very prominent weapon. So as I've said in other videos, you can take so many things and turn them into a deadly weapon, but a tomahawk speaks for itself. This is obviously a dangerous weapon, and this would obviously be an effective weapon in a hand-to-hand situation where there was no firearm available to you. As I say with every weapon though, if you're going to wield it, you've got to train with it. And there's ways that you can train to use a tomahawk, just like there's ways you can train to use any other weapons. But let's be realistic. When would we use a tomahawk? Typically, you're not going to be walking around the grocery store or the mall with a tomahawk. Some dudes might. I probably wouldn't, and most people wouldn't walk around those areas with a tomahawk in their hand or on their side. Situations like that call for, concealed carry weapons. And if you're that concerned about self-defense, I would learn more about everyday carries that are realistic, such as everyday carry in the world of knives and everyday carry in the world of firearms, but you're typically not going to have a tomahawk with you. But let's use our imagination. Let's really dig in and let's use our imagination with regard to when we would use a tomahawk. So I have a couple of scenarios just in using my imagination where I could envision the use of a tomahawk in self-defense. Here'd be one scenario. I'm walking through the woods or either out backpacking in an area that I'm not familiar with, and some crazy animal, rabid animal, runs up on me, or some crazy person who's on the loose, some escaped person or somebody who's just running wild. It happens. If you didn't have a gun and a situation like that happens and you have a tomahawk on your belt, pull that tomahawk out and go to work. Whatever you got to do. I mean, you got to think about how valuable something like this would be if something was running up on you, and trying to get at you, and all you had was this, to chop with. I mean, can you imagine being in the woods and, you don't have a gun and something happens really quick and all you have time to do is pull out your tomahawk, or let's just say something jumps on you before, you even have time to respond, and you're fighting it off. Well, wouldn't it be nice to take that tomahawk and start digging in? I could see the tomahawk being very effective in that situation, especially if you didn't have a gun. If you had a gun and you had time to draw it, of course you would draw that. Again, not everybody has a gun with them, and sometimes we can't get to certain things as quick. I could see a tomahawk being very effective out on the trail. Something comes up suddenly. Another scenario, you're out in the middle of nowhere. You have one of these situations of a home invasion where you might be dealing with multiple attackers. It has happened, it happens. And you, in trying to defend yourself, you've possibly emptied your clip and you don't have other weapons laying around. Well, if you have no gun, my friend, a tomahawk, something wonderful to have. Again, if you know how to use it. The dangerous thing about edged weapons like this is the danger of it being taken from you and used against you, but that's another video. Nevertheless, in this video, we're answering the question, you know, can a tomahawk be used in self-defense? I think in a situation where, and let's even get a little funny and comical. You know, we've all watched movies like The Purge, movies like these apocalypses, zombie apocalypse and stuff. I mean, obviously, you know, situations where you're dealing with a bunch of crazy people at one time, tomahawk would be pretty awesome to have. Let's keep it real. But I'm talking in real life, you know, out on the trail, or you're guarding, you're protecting your home, you're dealing with multiple attackers, maybe you're getting low on ammo, and it comes down to it, you know, a tomahawk with a spike and a chopping mechanism would come in very handy. The next question would be, what about throwing the tomahawk as a weapon? As a general rule, if this is all that I have in my hand, I'm not throwing it away. I'm not going to throw it away. If I had 2 tomahawks, if I'm defending my home, and I do, I have a Warhawk, I have a S-Wing Hawk, I have those quick Hawkeye Smith & Wessons, and I have this. And if I have time and I had the ability to load up a throwing hawk, yes, I would throw it. I would throw it in that situation, only if I had one to keep in my hand. If you're looking to get more familiar with how to use a tomahawk in combat, you know, there are guys on YouTube that have been in special forces that teach tutorials on tomahawk combat. I'm pretty familiar with a lot of that stuff. I don't consider myself to be an expert. I don't want to put myself in that situation. There are guys that are licensed, and they're licensed with regards to, you know, teaching weaponry self-defense, and that stuff's available on YouTube, and you can go out there and you can dig in. There's, I think, a couple of different guys on YouTube. There's this one guy that was from Australia, was in, I think, Special Forces, and he does a lot of tomahawk tutorials. So, you know, you could go and learn a lot more. I've gleaned from him. So, you know, you have that option as well. I hope you found this information helpful. These are just my thoughts. I'm not giving any specific advice on what you should or shouldn't do. This is just my thoughts and my philosophy with regards to the tomahawk. Be on the lookout for more videos like this. I'm going to be covering lots of different weapons and, you know, giving you my thoughts on whether or not I feel they would be effective in a self-defense scenario. So take care, my friend. We'll see you next time.